Hi and welcome back to the channel. So today I am just going to have a look at some of the new AudioModern packs, and there is two new free ones. There's one for Playbeat and there's one for Soundbox. So there's Cybervox is the latest free Playbeat, and Starlit is the latest free for Soundbox. So we'll have a quick blast of these and just hear what it's like. And unfortunately you can't skip through these like in native instruments. You get the idea. So we'll just go and see what it says. So I'm not quite sure what you're getting. Yeah, you're getting 30 presets and it is 50 meg. Expect to find 30 unlocked presets and 200 plus samples. Okay then, well, is it 200 or is it 150? Using our Playbeat engine, featuring creative rhythms and custom samples that can be endlessly reshuffled and remixed into fresh variations. And you need Playbox 4. So Starlight or Starlit, whichever way you want to pronounce it. So this is Indietronica and synthpop. I didn't know there was a genre called Indietronica. So we'll just see what it says about this. Probably not a lot either. Right, so Indietronica is Starlit is a dreamy modern virtual instrument for Soundbox, built for late night melodies, glowing hooks and bittersweet dance floors. Okay then. Right, you're getting 37 crafted presets from soft Star Wars pads and nostalgic keys to driving arps and bold expressive leads. Right, and it is 724 meg, which it doesn't tell you how many kind of sound sources that you get, but I can confirm that it's about 43. So that those are the free ones. There's the Vox Motive 2 is the latest for Soundbox. So I've just bought Vox Motive 1 in the audio plugins deal sale, which unfortunately by the time this comes out will have finished, but I got that for $19, which is about 15 quid it was. So yeah, so because I don't really have any vocal ones. In fact, I've only bought two of the AudioModern ones new, and so is Wired. So I'm glad they've got it there, because I have no idea what that says. If you can get Wired out of that, then you're a better man than I am. Those are new, and so is Opacity 2. So you can see these are €39, but Vox Motive is 29 and Wired is 29. So they're a wee bit cheaper, but they are still a hell of a lot more than my Soundbox packs. So they range from £2 to £8, quite a bit cheaper. Yeah. So we'll get Playbeat open and have a look at Cybervox, and then we'll have a look at Soundbox Starlit as well. Alright, so here we are in Playbeat, and I have got Cybervox loaded up, and as you can see I have favorited a few already, and what did it say? There was about 30, I think, presets in this one. So this is the first preset. This is called Astral Break. So we'll just have a quick blast of this, and I'm not going to go over how this works because I have done quite a few videos already, but I will kind of muck around with some of the controls and just to let you see what you can do. So and I'm just going to leave it at 120 for the purposes of this. So if you want to hear what each sound is, you can just click down here. And if you play this, and you can then listen to each individual sequence as well. If you just click in there, you'll get the kick. So you can hear the bass sequence. So that's the kind of blue one there, and then there's just two of those, and then purple, a hi-hat, and then we've just got one of that. So yeah, so that gives you an idea. And then if you want to randomize this, you can use this control for the amount, so you can see it goes up there. You can randomize it there, and then that is your levels, and then that is your effects as well. So there's no effects being added. So that is pretty much how it works. And you can randomize either the patterns or the sounds. So for instance, we could just randomize this and just put it up to say 60%, and then just randomize the sounds. As you can see, that has completely destroyed it and is completely unusable. So yeah, so you have to be a bit careful with that. So I've favorited this one. This is Astrobyte. So you can see it's a bit more simple. The problem with vocals is you can't really have that much, or it just gets all a bit messy. So probably the simpler ones are the better ones. Right? And you can see that this is pretty much all vocal samples according to this icon. Right, so I'll just cycle through these. Corrupt Aura. So you can hear, you've got the old kick, and then say 4 is the kind of chop, and then 7 is kind of hi-hat. So data drip, digital vapor. So you can see there's absolutely nothing on this lane, which is, what is that? That's right, there's nothing on it. Right, okay. Echo Artifact. And you can see we've got nothing on A. So if you want to add them in, we could just add in some O's. And if you go to the mixer, we can see, so that's quite high. So yeah, and then we've got, so we could take that one out and then put in an O instead. And where have we got to? Oh, I forgot hollow snip. Missed that one. Phantom codec, phantom bits. Viral Vox. So I think, have I done a, yeah, I've done a version of this as well, let's have it. Vox Distortion. Right, so we'll have a go at randomizing this one. So we'll bring it up a bit, like maybe say 30%, and we'll randomize the pattern this time, and then all right, here we go. Right, and then we'll quite like the simple ones. So we'll just try more randomization. So yeah, completely different. And we haven't even got anything on these. So these are apparently all vocals, but I think that's wrong. Now that we've randomized it, so. Right, let's see if we can build something up with this. Right, let's. Like that. There we go. So if you want to save that, you can just click in there and we can go to make that DTC Astrobat, and then there we go. How easy was that? That is it kind of for Cybervox. Let's get Soundbox open and have a look at Starlit. So here we are in Soundbox, and I have got Starlit opened up. There's 37 presets in this, and they all are SLRT. So there's ARPs, bass, keys, leads, quite a lot of leads, synths, and that's it. So quite a few categories. The first one's not the best one, but I'll just play it anyway. So yeah, that's the first one. So this is Dusty Circuit, and I'm at 100 BPM. So this is not the best background, so you can hardly see, like the settings are there. You can't actually see it, and you can't see the meter either, and you can barely see the BPM. So yeah, so they've you have to be a bit careful, because when I'm designing them, I have to make sure that this is dark enough for you to see. So. But AudioModern, just don't bother. And we've got a bit of modulation on this one. I just don't see the point in having single sample presets. That's kind of defeating the whole purpose of having 4 layers. So there's a lot of basses, but why not put a frickin' synth here? So I'm going to discuss this at the end of the kind of demo. So you got the leads. So they're mostly all just analog leads. And they never really have much in the way of effects on, so there's reverb and there's nothing on the master. Yeah, so they don't have a huge amount of things applied. So we've got a brassy synth. Confused soundscape. So we've got a bit going on here. We've got 4 synth EPs. And we've got modulation, you can see. So yeah, so at least they're making an effort with this one. Yeah, because I don't remember them using the modulation before in some of the other ones. But then I haven't bought a lot of their packs because they're €40. Right, so here's their kind of Blade Runner one. And for some reason they have 2 reverbs with the same, so that's just odd. So that's going to make no difference switching that off. And that is all empty on pad A1. So it's a sort of Blade Runner. So we could maybe pitch that down. And put on some chorus. Or we could just match up the filter. We can just drag the filter over, put it on the empty one there, and bring up the res. Take the chorus off. So yeah, you get the idea. So there we are, back to the beginning. So that was the last of the synths in a choir. So the problem is that they don't name the preset. So if I want to add in another preset from this pack, I have absolutely no idea, unless you copy one of these from another. So if we go back and say we've got that sync 2, right? So if I try and find that, so there's no, they haven't put on the STRT codes. So there it is there, right? So we'll see what it sounds like. So there's not much. They've got a limiter on and a phaser on that one, so there's no reverb or anything. So put on reverb, take the phaser off and put delay on, and then drag these over. So yeah, we'll change that and then put a bit more reverb on this one. So what I've done is, I've gone through all the presets and written down the sound sources. I'll put this on Drive so you can download the PDF. So that is a copy of all the sound sources. So you can see there's 1, 3, 4, 5, 7 and 10 analog leads. So I don't know what happened to 6. And then you've got FM bass 1A2. So there's a lot of A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the synths. And then there's a synth bass A1, A3. So yeah, so that is a list. So if you want to find some of the other presets, so for instance, we could synth bass A1. So, and the other thing is you can't search for this unless you go into here and then go to up here, and then you still can't actually search, but you can go through them a lot quicker. So synth bass A3, right, there we go. See, it's only using a part of that. Synth A1. Better. So yeah, so you see the problem that if you don't aim these, it's very difficult to find out where the samples are. Like I said, you can go in here, but there's nothing, because you can see Sounds Alive. I've done his ones are all SOL, you know. So yeah, Muffled Saws is another one from Starlit and Muxin, but you just don't know. So like I said, you've now got a list of all of them if you want to create. So we will put in a bit of tape fuzz and just see what that sounds like. So you can see there's Vox Motive there. Bass Retro Grime. Let's try and see if we can find Bass Retro Grime. Here we go. Quite loud. Maybe at some point AudioModern will kind of sort this out. You know, if you're not making your own presets, then it's not really a problem. But pop that PDF on Drive, and I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll leave a link to the expansions page for AudioModern, and you can get this, and you can also get Cybervox as well for free. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and if you have enjoyed these videos, please remember to like, subscribe, share and comment, and I will see you in the next one.